18 new homes to be built in Jimmit for disaster-stricken families. Francophone Month officially launched, and the Rotary Club to host its 4th hearing mission to Dominica this month. Thank you for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Kimani.
And I'm Tasia Floissac. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after this.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
Thank you for staying with us. 18 houses will be built in the community of Jimmit to assist persons affected by natural disasters. The Honorable Member of Parliament for the Maho constituency, Reuben Blackmore, made the announcement on Monday at the 10th inaugural meeting of the Maho Jimmit Taru Village Council.
This year we shall be building 18 new houses in Jimmit for the persons who have been displaced as a result of Ophelia, and that money has been made possible by the People's Republic of China.
These houses are in addition to the 1,500 homes to be built by the Labour Party government under the Housing Revolution program this term. The Honourable MP has already seen work begin on houses in Campbell, Warner and Maho. He says these homes are for persons who are otherwise unable to adequately house themselves.
I believe that with $50,000 we can build a 2-bedroom house, a washroom, a veranda, giving the basic. And if there is a family member or family members who believe that is inadequate, well, one love, you can add on to it. But I believe going forward that when we provide for persons who are not able, we must provide for them the basic going forward. Over the years, I've been able to generate some information as to persons who are in need. And all of us in Maho know the persons who are in absolute need. So I believe we must use those programs and to identify persons who actually need them in the community and to give them what is due to them. Because government responsibility is to prop you up so that you can walk. It's not to create a dependency. And I believe going forward, we must be frank with ourselves. And that is the approach I will be taking as your humble servant.
Meantime, residents of Jimmit will see a number of projects to improve their standard of living in this term of the Labour Party's governance. The Honourable Member of Parliament for the Maho constituency, Reuben Blackmore, says during his new term as parliamentary representative, he is committed to ensuring that the people of Jimmit benefit from programs and projects being undertaken by the Dominica Labour Party administration.
We shall ensure in this term that every street in Jimmit is done and done properly going forward. Because you have stood by me from 2000 to now, and I owe it to you. And if I don't perform, you can't elect me. And I'm saying to you, a resource center is coming. And I cannot give the people of Jimmit any more excuses for not having access to that playing field in Jimmit. We must deal with it once and for all going forward.
He says the construction of a playing field is critical for residents and especially the young people.
When we go about establishing development, housing development, we have an obligation to make provision for recreation. Because young people must find creative ways to dissipate the energies. And one of the most creative ways in doing so is by way of sports. I know what sports have done for me as a young man. And having said that, I'm happy that it took me and the Labour Party to rehabilitate the playing field in Maho, where we have spent over $2 million. So today we can have cricket, rounders, and basketball on the lights. That is what we stand for, my dear friends.
Francophone Month 2015 was officially launched today under the theme Jeunesse, Environnement et Climat, or Youth, Environment and Climate. National correspondent of Dominica to the International Organization of La Francophone, Sonia Maglo-Akpa, says the organization has supported the Francophone event for many years through grant funding for the activities organized for the National Commission for La Francophone.
We started the month of activities with a festival Jouet Traditionnel, which was organized by the Division of Culture, and the National Commission for la Francophonie made a donation of $2,000 for that activity. We have also recently presented checks to the Ministry of Education, to Charlene White Christian on behalf of the Ministry of Education, $1,500 towards the Primary School's French Festival, and $2,000 towards the Mademoiselle Francophonie pageant.
Maglo ACPA expects that the theme will allow member states, institutions, and the youth to use their creativity and talent to propose and organize activities in support of a clean and safe environment. For the first time, the National Commission for la Francophone is partnering with the National Youth Council to celebrate Francophone Month 2015.
So they have actually presented us with a number of small projects that symbolize environmental protection and conservation. And we are now looking at the projects to see what funding we can provide to the National Youth Council, so that we both in keeping with the theme and also focusing on youth. So they will be involved later this month in implementation of a number of environmentally friendly projects.
Canadian High Commissioner to Dominica, His Excellency Richard Hanley, hopes the donation of books foster greater relations between the governments of Dominica and Canada.
Happily, this event today offers us an opportunity to share some Canadian culture with you. We are thrilled to present these French language Canadian books to the Ministry of Education of Dominica. These books will be used in primary schools across the island, I understand, to promote and facilitate French language acquisition. People of Dominica have many friends in Canada, and this exchange today is one more indication of the strong and abiding ties that Canadians have with this beautiful island, and particularly with its French heritage. There is a great connection with Canada.
His Excellency Hanley presented the books to the Chief Education Officer, Melina Fontaine, as well as Director of the Alliance Française de la Dominique, Stanislas Renier, who had this to say.
On behalf of the Alliance Française Committee, I'm very proud to be a part, we are the Alliance Française, to be a part of this celebration, and we look forward to bringing together students, professionals, and everyone for this Francophonie celebration. Bonne Francophonie à toutes et à tous. Merci.
Chief Education Officer Melina Fontaine says the Ministry of Education and the government, by extension, is appreciative of the Dominica-Canada relationship.
Thank you for Canada's friendship with us in Dominica. You have done a lot for us. We have benefited from each other. There was a time when our teachers would go to Canada, plan with the Canadians that they would come down for the summer, and then we would have a great time teaching our teachers and so on. We still have the program, not as before, but it continues, and we are very, very happy for that. We are also at the Ministry of Education very happy to partner with Alliance Française, the International Organization de la Francophone, and the organizations that have really put out themselves to assist us with the French program. And we just hope that our schools open themselves more to the language and really take it seriously, so that at the end of the day, when we send our children out into the world of work, they are bilingual, and that makes them even more marketable. So thank you very much, and we hope for that continued cooperation.
Meantime, at this event, the 7 contestants of the Mademoiselle Francophone Pageant 2015 were launched. They are Soldier Wigan of Roseau Primary School, representing Morocco, Sonage Corriette of the St. Martin's Primary, representing Egypt, Nicole Anselm of the Grand Fort Primary School, representing Canada, Duran Joseph of the Goodwill Primary School, representing Tunisia, Reniska Caprice of the Convent Preparatory School, representing Burundi, and Jasmine Benjamin of the Warner Primary School, representing Vietnam. The pageant will be held on the 28th of March at the Arc House of Culture at 3 p.m.
Last week, the Ministry of Health and the Pediatric Unit of the Princess Margaret Hospital once again hosted the World Pediatric Project. The World Pediatric Project, founded in 2001, is a US-based non-profit humanitarian organization aimed at providing pediatric critical care services in the Caribbean region and Central America. Since partnering in 2008, a number of teams have hosted missions in Dominica to deliver diagnostic, training, and surgical care, particularly in the fields of cardiology, orthopedics, plastic surgery, ophthalmology, urology, among others. Every year for the past 5 years, pediatric cardiologist Dr. Barak Rahimi of the World Pediatric Project has visited the island to deliver service to locals. He visited the island for a 2-day stay last week, assessing and diagnosing over 60 patients.
Deal with congenital heart disease, basically babies who are born with a heart problem. And here we evaluate them and see what type of heart problem they have and start on medication if needed to. And for some of the children that need a surgical repair of their heart, we refer them to different institutions in United States through World Pediatric Project and have their heart surgeries done usually either in St. Louis or Richmond, both in U.S.
Children under the age of 21 are the beneficiaries of this program. All services provided are free of cost to their families, that is, hundreds of thousands of dollars to top-level medical care at no cost. Pediatric consultant Dr. Rhoda McIntyre says she is pleased with the project's positive impact, particularly in the absence of tertiary care services on the island.
He does all of the evaluations, echocardiographs, on echo evaluations on varying numbers, up to sometimes up to 60 patients during that 2-day period. So what happens is that because we don't have tertiary care services, especially subspecialty services in the area of cardiology and pediatric cardiology in particular, we have to send patients elsewhere, overseas, for evaluation. Sometimes it turns out to be not anything of major significance, but then you have to send the patient abroad. So this way we are bringing him to see all of the patients rather than having every patient spend money to go overseas. So this works very well for us.
Director of the World Pediatric Project in the Eastern Caribbean, Nurse Jacqueline Brown-King, gave insight into funding for projects such as these.
It's based on gifts and kind donation, persons who are willing to share, who are willing to help less fortunate. So in Richmond, Virginia, they have an annual auction where they ask hotels to give of their kind, and it's auction off. Who wins it will come and be part of it. Our CEO, Susan Rickman, she goes from state to state seeking support from persons who are willing to invest in other lesser, fortunate persons. And for Dominica, I mean, they can see the love and the support. It's all about partnership. We cannot do it alone. And this is why this program, I think, is so important, not for the whole region. And if we look around, we know from the stories, not our stories, their stories, we are making a difference.
9-year-old Marissa Sendville is one of the patients who received medical assistance from the World Pediatric Project last year. Young Marissa underwent surgery in January 2014 after being diagnosed with a heart defect 3 years prior. Her mother, Clarence Sendville, recounted her daughter's experience.
Having this surgery, it was very hard and tough experience for me. But after this, she made the surgery, and I go for everything. Went to St. Louis, and that was worrying my head. But when Marissa got to have this heart surgery, everything was okay and everything was fine. With the help of my families and Dr. McIntyre and Dr. Rahami, Nurse King, and the doctors from the St. Louis. And I could thank them very much for what they did for Marissa. And right now, Marissa is feeling okay and she is fine. She has no complaint now. And after this checkup, the doctor tell me she is okay and she is doing fine. So Marissa is strong and healthy now.
As of September 2014, the World Pediatric Project has evaluated 319 children in Dominica. 36 of those patients required surgery.
Audiologists from the Centers of Hearing Care and members of the Rotary Club of Boardman, Ohio, USA will be in Dominica from March 22, 2015 to conduct hearing clinics across the island. The Hearing Mission, which is in its 4th year in Dominica, is annually organized by the Rotary Club of Dominica as part of its mandate to contribute wherever it can, including the health sector. The initiative was conceptualized by Marvin Birmingham, past president of the Rotary Club of Dominica and focal point coordinator of the Hearing Mission.
About 5 years ago, the parent of a child with hearing impairment approached me and said, "Don't Rotary do hearing aids, because my daughter needs a hearing aid and it's going to cost me over $1,000 US." And you know, that sort of, I brought this to the club. There was an approach that had been made before, but there was no, nothing came out of it. And then one day I met with one of the professors from Ross University. She came to one of our meetings, and I mentioned to her that, you know, I needed to do something for hearing impaired people, because Heritage Nurse Graham was saying that she had a number of people on a list for hearing aids and they just couldn't afford it. And she approached Dr. Cheryl Figliano, who immediately said yes. And that is how we got connected. And where we got connected also to her Rotary Club, because very often you want to do things Rotary to Rotary. And the rest is history.
The volunteers are a mix of audiologists and Rotarian support staff who pay their own way to Dominica to provide a service to the hearing impaired. The Ross University School of Medicine provides free housing for the team. The government of Dominica also plays its part in assisting the mission.
The Ministry of Health, which provides meals on the clinic days and also transportation to and from the clinics and from the airport. The Ministry of Finance also gives us a waiver of the embarkation tax as well.
This year, the concentration will be on air cleaning. Birmingham says the mission is particularly for those who have difficulty hearing.
This year in particular, we want to see all those whom we had given, who had received hearing aids over the past 3 years. We want to see them because, you know, you want to evaluate what is happening. We also want to know whether they are using the hearing aids or not, if there are any little problems with them, because although we say to the patients, hey, we have trained a technician, and that's another thing that we did, train a technician to do minor repairs to the hearing aids, but she does not get the level of calls or people don't approach her, you know, although we've given numbers and told where she can be found and so on. We don't get that kind of reaction, and we feel that probably the hearing aids are somewhere in a cupboard.
The initiative, which started 3 years ago, has provided care to over 700 Dominicans, and over 300 of those have been fitted for hearing aids. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique a continué et puis commitment pour développer ressources humaines, ça requiert Human Resource Development. Parole celle-là sortir du ministère de l'Information, Honorable Kelvin Darrow, pendant cette cérémonie pour commencer Center of Excellence qui était pour place en Lady. Projet celle-là qui a bâti en vieille occasion State College Dominique, c'est collaboration gouvernement Dominique et puis India. Il y a un contrat pour 200 avec $92 000 signé pour rénovation l'occasion là où le projet là qui fonctionnait. En parole et délivré pour voir le projet ça a commencé. Honorable Darrow dit cérémonie Lady, c'était un jour bien historique pour Dominique et de travail rénovation là qui a commencé en 2 semaines. Ministre Darrow aussi fait parole que l'occasion là qui fait provision training officier gouvernement en ICT, avancement technologie ICT en toute l'école et State College Dominique. Honorable Darrow dit contract salam qu'a ouvert la porte montre bien clair policier gouvernement Dominique avancer qualité la vie pour Dominique. Ministre Darrow remercie India pour contribution à eux pour projet salam. En notre nouvelle, le gouvernement Dominica a tapé assistance de Morocco pour financer un projet ça qui Soil Fertility Mapping. Projet ça là qui teste l'occasion pour bon terre pour production coco en Dominique. Parole ça là sur le permanent secrétaire ministre agriculture Harold Gist.
Morocco a aidé Dominique un projet pour ça tester terre pour garder qui qualité nourrissement, qui qualité nourriture, alimentation qui est dans terre. Et bien vous savez tout le besoin d'alimentation pour nourrir. Comme ça, il y a en particulier aliment nous avons cadmium. Nous demandons ces Marocains pour mettre ça dans le testing programme parce qu'il va soutenir trop qualité de ça en cacao. Et il pas bon pour santé monde sur quoi point souvent comme ça nous pour limiter qui va les cadmium qui est dans la si nous d'habitude qui n'y a pas qualité aliment ça nous pour occuper de ça pour ménager bien pour nous ça fait certain qui cacao même pas absorber qualité bagaille ça là pour ça faire monde malade.
Un workshop pour bon standard production coco pour place en Dominique semaine passée. En notre nouvelle, ministère commodité Honorable Ian Douglas, kakouye à ces moun Maro, Taro et Jimmit pour mettre politique derrière à ses côtés et puis mettre attention à ces développements pays là. Honorable Douglas, qui représente le premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, fait parole ça là pendant l'inauguration village contre Maro lundi. Ministre Douglas dit, avancement communauté là, ça perd si politique influencé, diviser monde. Et de solidarité pour communauté ça là, c'est posé bien à tête pour développement communauté là. Ministre Douglas dit, élection passée, quand ça développement communauté là, c'est posé priorité. Honorable Douglas fait parole qu'il est nous créer au meilleur pays, les enfants nous qui changent nous pour activement ça là. En même temps, mon parlement Honorable Ribbon Blackmore, qui aussi adresse ces fonctions-là, fait parole en parmi d'autres qui 13 millions de dollars déjà dépensés en constituency là. Et de Jimmit qui tape développement, il te promet. Nous qui portons plus de détails, parole Honorable Blackmore, d'autres officiers consulaires, et puis ministère développement communauté, Honorable Catherine Daniel. Finalement, ça fait qu'à concerner degré moun peut obtenir ou n'a pas étudié autant, c'est bagay qu'à concerner accréditation bonne Dominique. C'est l'executive director Rock Bruno, public là c'est posé pe garde et puis c'est institution ça là qu'a offert ces degrés ça là.
Ça me veut dire aussi il y a moun ka Dominique qui ka quoi yo sani un first degree, bachelor's degree, mais ça comment yo ka dit ça en créole. Et moun ka dit yo sa tapé un bachelor's degree dans 6 mois, 12 mois, 1 année. Mais moi dit peuple dominicain, ça pas possible. Si yo allez prendre formation ça, moun qui ani manger l'argent yo, puis pour taper un bachelor's degree. Ou supposé ni ça yo qui en anglais, credits. Non. Pour un bachelor's degree, ou besoin taper 360 crédits. Ça c'est sur un bachelor's degree. Mais 360 crédits là, ou supposé multiplier ça par 15 parce que 15 heures c'est l'équivalent d'un crédit. D'accord? Donc si vous multipliez 15 par 360, ça va quantité l'air moun supposé ni pour yo ça taper un bachelor's degree.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle encore. Pour à présent, non moins, c'est McPherson. Au revoir.
When it comes to oral hygiene, does the type of toothbrush matter? Find out next on your tip of the day.
If you can believe this.
Come by my house and let me show you some movies.
Why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Angled heads, raised bristles, oscillating tufts and handles that change colors with use. You name it. Toothbrushes come in all shapes, colors and sizes, promising to perform better than the rest. But no body of scientific evidence exists yet to show that any one type of toothbrush design is better at removing plaque than another.
The only thing that matters is that you brush your teeth. Many people just don't brush long enough. Most people brush less than a minute, but to effectively reach all areas and scrub off cavity-causing bacteria, it is recommended to brush for 2 to 3 minutes twice daily.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscast on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Tasia Floissac.
And I'm Kimani. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.